Ibushi made a grand return to a major brand of pro wrestling with AEW's Blood and Guts match. Ever since he left New Japan, he has been regarded as the biggest free agent in pro wrestling. He has competed in 3 matches, 2 in GCW and the last one in AEW. Every match was held in the US, but he will make his return to Japanese pro wrestling on August 4th for the biggest event in GLEAT's history. We looked over Ibushi's 3 matches and made an analysis in depth. Ibushi's first match since his hiatus was held in Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 9. Bloodsport is an event where they try to continue the legacy of UWF in shoot-style pro wrestling. It was Ibushi's will to participate here, since he is a fan of the style. The match went on as a typical UWF-style match, especially when a star wrestled a non-star wrestler. They tried their best to acknowledge the size difference between Mike Bailey and Ibushi, which is a specialty of UWF style. Both Ibushi and Bailey have quick strikes and good technical abilities, but it's hard to present something really awe-inspiring to the modern crowd with the UWF style. Still, it was a good try for Ibushi as his first match, since the style is way less physically and athletically demanding. The second match was against Joey Janela. Ibushi showed more symptoms of ring rust in this match than his match against Mike Bailey, even though Ibushi still managed to show some shining moments in the match. He wasn't really innovative as he used to be in the ring. For worse, there were even some botches. It wasn't merely Ibushi's faults, but still, it wasn't something expected for the standard of wrestlers like Ibushi. He also showed some struggle from connecting with the US fans, which is totally understandable since Japanese fans and American fans have a very different approach. He would have done far better in connecting with the crowd if it was a Japanese crowd. The Janela match was far from Ibushi's best performance. The last match was AEW's Blood and Guts match. Ibushi appeared with a loud pop. Fans accepted him as a big star. It seemed like AEW fans were easy to relate to him as their guy, since his friendship with Kenny Omega is so well known. Ibushi started with straight punches like Tenaru used to do, which is actually illegal in pro wrestling. But Ibushi used to use these a lot, to show that he was really fired up and ready to show his final gear. Ibushi put many efforts in the match to show that he doesn't have ring rust anymore, but he couldn't hide it. There were some good moments where he delivered a double Pele kick or a standing moonsault, but despite the fact that he appeared last, he wasn't the man of the match. Takeshita, Ibushi's junior in DDT, showed a better performance in general. After observing him carefully, we made a conclusion that GLEAT's decision to feature him in a multi-man tag team match instead of a singles was definitely wise. People compared his circumstances with CM Punk's return after hiatus, but given that Punk's biggest weapon is his promo ability and charisma, meanwhile Ibushi's biggest specialty was his in-ring ability, ring rust can have a way worse influence on Ibushi. Ibushi was regarded as one of the best wrestlers in the world, or some even called him as one of the most innovative wrestlers in the history of pro wrestling. But the current state of Ibushi seemed like he didn't fully recover the former self from his severe injuries. Still, Ibushi is a big star in both the US and Japan, but to not lose the hype around his return and maintain his stardom, he still needs to improve himself to return to what he used to be, especially considering that modern wrestling fans have very little patience. The 2 best comparisons for current Ibushi's circumstances: number 1, CM Punk. After he returned, he showed some ring rust, and he wasn't regarded as one of the best in-ring workers anymore. But he didn't lose his star appeal since his biggest advantage is his promo ability. He was still perceived as a huge star, and he drew the biggest crowd reaction whether it's cheers or boos. And number 2, Satoru Sayama. At one time, he was perceived as an even bigger star than Inoki himself, and he was a social phenomenon. He created the Tiger Mask boom and was super over with children. But Sayama refused to wrestle his Tiger Mask style when he returned to the first UWF, and even took off his mask. When fans saw Sayama as different from what they remembered, his star presence started to diminish very quickly. The UWF couldn't secure their TV deal, since Sayama's stardom went down so fast, and a conflict happened between Sayama and Maeda. Sayama had to leave the promotion and didn't make a full return to pro wrestling for a long time. If Ibushi loses his caliber as one of the best wrestlers in the world, he can go a similar path with Sayama, who is still perceived as a star, but not the needle mover. So what do you all think of Ibushi's return? Please tell us in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to help us spread more Puro content like this. Thank you all, and see you soon.